Every time a short or unattractive guy opens up about his struggles online, there's always some blue-pilled normie in the comments giving the same standard template response. Just be confident, bro. Just get jacked, bro. Just insert lazy solution here, bro. It sounds like advice, but it isn't. It's a way to dismiss your pain without having to acknowledge that your struggle is real. Well, here's some advice for them. No one likes people who give unsolicited advice. This phrase is a template response, and it requires zero thought and zero empathy. And it usually comes from 3 different types of people. Blue-pilled normies in denial.
You could really just have a super sour personality that nobody, really wants to be around. And from the looks of it,
Tall chads who never knew struggle. And feminists who want to virtue signal that they aren't shallow, while also taking jabs at lonely men and delegitimizing our gripes because they don't care if they push us away because we're not attractive to them.
It's your defeatist mindset that keeps you from getting women, not your height or whatever else y'all think it is. At this point, no matter what it is that keeps you from getting women, you guys are so annoying. I hope natural selection takes you out. Never in all my days have I seen such a bunch of crybabies and victims. You guys are literally addicted to being victims and just addicted to making stuff up that's just not true so you can justify being a victim. I keep telling you guys how important charisma is, and you say charisma only matters if you're attractive and tall. You guys are so dumb, so brain dead, so disconnected from reality because you would rather just be disconnected and be delusional than do an ounce of work.
An issue can't ever be addressed until it's acknowledged as real by a critical mass of people in society. These gaslighters will point to celebrities and world leaders as proof that confidence is the answer.
because if we take a look at Kevin Hart's career, every role that he has been in, every single joke that he has, or just Kevin Hart in general, his entire life, he's been made fun of because of his stature. Regardless of how over-exaggerated it was, Kevin Hart didn't sit there and start whining about how he's a cute boy, cat boy, incel or whatever. In fact, he took those to advantages and is probably one of the most successful people his height.
Face it, bro. Most of us would not lack confidence if we were a millionaire or a movie star. I certainly wouldn't. Most of my lack of confidence these days comes from a feeling of inadequacy about what I've achieved in life or how much my income is. You know, comparing myself to other people that are around 30 years old. But I would argue that all of these celebrities, to differing degrees, have had luck and things beyond their control play a role in their success in life. And regardless of your height or however you look, having a lot of luck in life in regards to achieving your dreams and becoming wealthy or famous, years of good fortune like that, and having the fruits of your labor actually pay off will increase the levels of confidence in almost anyone. But you don't know how those celebrities felt before they reached that point of highness in society. It's very likely that they struggled with insecurity as well, and possibly still do to a lesser extent. I'm sure plenty of those guys struggled with self-esteem issues before they became successful. You don't know what they went through. These types of people who espouse this nonsense, they all have one thing in common, and that's the anecdote fallacy. Pointing to one or two short guys here and there who made it to the top doesn't disprove the overwhelming pattern. Like, come on, people, you should know this. You're starting to look like a bunch of IQ-lets, and we all know how much you care about your image, so maybe rethink this a little bit. But confidence doesn't work the same for everyone. To many of these very same people, confidence from short or unattractive men reads as arrogance, aggression, or creepiness.
They're always like that. The shorter they are, the more cocky they are. Why are they like that?
Because they got to act
Yeah,
like big.
but no, but honestly, seriously, about little guys, they've got some mad attitude. The cockiness and the arrogance and all this stuff normally comes from little men or little.
It's like Chihuahuas and Pomeranians.
Yeah, the bark is way bigger than the bite.
Yeah.
They have to be like, I'm a man, I'm masculine. They have to show their masculinity because it's not visibly there.
Clips like that have thousands of comments belittling and dehumanizing short men. But if a short man ever tries to speak out about it, the average person's response is somewhere between society doesn't care and shut up, pipsqueak. So confidence from guys that are chopped is punished by these very same people, while lack of confidence is used to blame us for every little thing going wrong in our lives. And at the same time, confidence from men they find attractive is praised and welcomed. Women online often complain that men don't approach anymore. But when men they find unattractive do approach, they get labeled as creeps while also being told it's all our fault for how we're treated.
You are not ugly. I repeat, you are not ugly. To women, you are dangerous. You are creepy. It is not a male loneliness epidemic at this point. It is a male consequence epidemic.
You know, for a lot of men, it's hard to know which women will or won't find us attractive, especially if we've been attractive to other women in our past. But now I guess the idea is if you punish or sadistically humiliate men you find unattractive enough, they'll learn their lesson and never approach you again, never insult you with their implication that they're somehow worthy of you. And since most of these modern women seem to reject all but the top 1% of guys, it's no wonder the majority of men have decided to step away from approaching. It's often not worth taking the risk of them potentially destroying your reputation over the whole thing and treating you as some kind of criminal who harassed them. Kinda hard to be confident when the universe shapes your outlook with situations like that and the scars they leave behind. And regardless, even if you do manage to be confident as a short guy, many women would rather pick an insecure tall guy over a confident short guy anyway.
They're always like that. The shorter they are, the more cocky they are.
And then there's the really, really tall ones that are insecure.
Yeah. I'll
So-
take the tall and insecure, to be honest. Yeah.
Okay.
This meme does a great job explaining the double standard. The meme showing how women's brains process insecurity versus danger based on looks. When their social status isn't at risk, many women openly state the brutal truth. Confidence isn't the main variable. Height and money are. Like this woman here who openly states that short men have to try harder and have less to offer physically. So if he's under 6 feet, he'd better be rich. And that's doubly cruel because short men statistically earn less money and have less positions of power than tall men. In fact, the taller a man is, the more money he makes on average. And vice versa for short guys. And that wage gap is pretty wild. And I believe I talk about it in this video here. But yeah, if confidence was all that matters, then how do you explain comments like these? The casual dehumanization of short men on TikTok, literally agreeing that they don't even see us as human, in multiple examples with different women.
Your personality, like the entire time, you've been making me like laugh so hard, and
You're just a friend.
and for you, yeah, like the Brazilian accent, the hype, you know, it's been getting me, yeah. So the person I'm going to go with, pizza.
But something these people don't understand is that confidence is a finite resource, not some switch you can turn on and off that lasts forever. It's ridiculous to shame men that are chopped for lacking confidence when decades of rejection beat it out of them. A guy with a sub-5 face has it bad, absolutely. But short guys face an additional layer of insecurity. We're viewed as easy targets for bullying and assault due to being physically disadvantaged and vulnerable to our bullies and our abusers. It's harder for us to push back against it, and we spend our whole lives being talked down to, demeaned, and painted as inferior even by the media we grew up with. And we spend life being disrespected in ways tall men never experience and could never understand. And not just from other men, but from women too. How can you expect short guys to stay confident when brutal stories like this are so common? One of my TikTok followers said a girl he was talking to called him a short little bitch and then showed him pictures of the taller guy she was cheating with and said she was glad. I don't know about you, but that sounds like a little bit of sadism to me. You would have to be a complete psychopath with zero empathy to see something like that and blame the victim for losing confidence. It's just cruel. And even if you are confident, it doesn't always work, and my experience reflects this. I was highly confident in my mid-20s. I had gotten an early start with my business. I felt like I was further along in life in many ways than a lot of people that had graduated recently before me. Things had been going pretty well, and I felt good about the progress I had made in life. I felt good about how I looked. I had done a lot of ascending with my face and my hair. And from around the age of 23 to like 27 or 28, I had asked out dozens of women. I mean, I had gone on a lot of dates prior to that time, but the difference now was I was a lot more confident. And that's regardless of my height. If you know me, you know that I actually embrace my height. But ultimately, none of those approaches or dates or relationships ever went anywhere. I'm going to be 30 in a few months. I'm still a virgin, still never had a girlfriend. And regardless of all the time and energy and grind and sacrifice that I put in over the last 6 or 7 years to build my small business and build a variety of social accounts and marketing campaigns and sales and all this shit, none of it went anywhere. And as a result, that confidence slowly disappeared. So I had confidence, but the reality is that it doesn't survive indefinitely without some positive reinforcement. Just like with my burnout problem, I put years of work and thousands upon thousands of hours into building something only for it to flop due to things beyond my control. And here we are 6 or 7 years later, and I'm not seeing any of the fruits of my labor. Anyone would break down and lose motivation and burn out after an experience like that. I mean, I am worn the fuck out. So even if you've never dealt with the confidence issue, maybe you can relate to the burnout issue, and that'll help you understand how the confidence issue works. But even when short guys are attractive or unattractive guys are tall, low income, failure to achieve anything, and a lack of a stable living situation is enough for many women to pass on you anyway. But beyond just body image issues, when someone's ventures fail and life gets harder, confidence erodes even further. And at that point, it's not a mindset problem, it's a feedback loop. Reddit is a perfect example of the massive contrast in how short men versus tall men are conditioned through life experience. Just imagine the psychological toll of living on the wrong side of that divide. Not conducive to confidence. Maybe people should take a look at their own role and how they shape the confidence in those around them, based on how they treat guys they see as beneath them. Stop blaming the victim for once and take personal accountability for your abuse and the trauma you left behind. But you know what I think? I think most of these people don't even want to help. They just want someone to blame, someone it's okay for them to abuse. Normies like to combine advice with cruelty, kicking you while you're down and calling it tough love. Like, clearly this guy's trying to talk down to me like he's my hard-ass father or something, but it really just comes off as incredibly ignorant.
Yeah, no shit we earn more. We're bigger than you. We eat way more than you. Buy clothes that require more material. Need beds that are bigger just to fit. We need more money to be comfortable financially. No grown-up in the real world cares about your height grow up.
I think you meant to put a comma there.
Volkanovski is your height and is an absolute legend. Don't make excuses, it makes you weak. Control what you can and make the most of it.
From referencing a celebrity to trying to compare the minuscule struggles of being a tall man to the overwhelming disadvantages of being short, this comment is about as stereotypical as they come. Insulting, really. Any man disadvantaged by their height or struggling with body image issues resulting from trauma would see this as condescending advice from someone who's lived a privileged life and can't even conceptualize the struggles of those who lack what he benefits from. Pretty narcissistic, actually, since it implies that his success is entirely a result of his own superior effort or intellect or spiritual power, and ignoring the impact of everything outside his control. Now, if you ask me, I think if these people really wanted to help, this advice would be worded completely differently. I mean, you got these same kind of people walking on eggshells when the issue is racial or related to LGBTQIA+ or something like that. Everyone else gets handled with kid gloves, but no, it's the short guys that get the tough love. I wonder why. Let me know in the comments why you think that is. But for some good examples, just look at these. Your vibes are horrendous. Standard Inkwell cult leader who sounds like he's never spoken to a real person. Hey, I'm not standard. Jokes aside, that was a great example of cruelty disguised as feedback. And then you got me leaving a comment about the risks of approaching women these days, followed by a reply from a young woman who says, "Agree, creeps should stop asking girls out. Go work on yourself." These people agree with women about the problem of toxic masculinity and then turn around and perpetuate it. Or, if they're red pillars, they just perpetuate the just world fallacy. You know, that every person has the same chance at life from the start, regardless of social status or appearance or loving parents or access to resources. And the lie that every person is rewarded with success in life relative to the amount of effort that they put in, and that everyone who struggles or fails at life is just reaping what they sow. It's all their fault. Failure is always deserved. You know, people who think like this next guy who roasted my Instagram.
This guy's page is the worst. I mean, look at his bio. 5'3.5" manlet, height pill, it's over. Going to his YouTube channel is even worse. All his videos are about how much life sucks and how everything's terrible and oh my god, it's all because of his height, right? No, you are what you think about.
This one's got it all. Victim blaming, logical jumps, assumptions stacking up like the hoard of junk piling up at your grandma's house. I mean, if what he was saying was true, then why are women going around saying shit like this? These people aren't trying to help. They just found a group of people that are socially acceptable to abuse. Now, it's hard for me to believe that people that are this chronically online seem to understand so little about how social media actually works. I mean, I'm probably more chronically online than they are, but hey, I've got an excuse because I'm a content creator. I don't just consume. Now, you might be wondering why I bring this up. Well, it's because these people see me talking about heightism and speaking out about the disadvantages of being short and the advantages of being tall and assume that this is my whole personality and that's why nobody likes me. Yet they know nothing about me as a person or how the algorithm even works. Occupying a content niche doesn't mean that that niche represents your entire personality. Like, holy shit, this is like juvenile type thinking. They say nobody likes me, but that really couldn't be further from the case. Everywhere I go in real life, people love me. And I almost never talk about height in person. I've actually read a variety of books about charisma and sales, diplomacy, persuasion, and influence. I'm actually pretty good at talking to people, especially in a business context. And I know how to humanize myself just enough to build a stronger bond over time. And one of the biggest lessons I've learned when it comes to the art of speechcraft is when someone comes to you with a struggle that they're having in life, the first thing that you do should not be to try and give them some unsolicited advice or solution like just do blank or just be blank, or to somehow invalidate their experience by blaming them in some way. That's not a good way to win friends and influence people, if you know what I mean. Take it from a grizzled veteran of sales. And it's very clear to me that these people don't know me because they sit here saying that I complain all day about being short, when really, I actually love being short. I wish I was shorter. Hell, I'm probably less insecure about my height than the guy telling me to love myself. It sounds like this guy kind of just copes and tolerates being short.
I'm not going to discredit this guy's lived experience and say a few things that happened to him probably did suck. I've been picked up. I've been tossed around. It sucks. It's terrible. But I just laugh it off. I now do martial arts 6 times a week, and I lift 5 times a week. If anyone tries to touch me, they know they can't.
If you think about it, I'm way more at peace with my height than he is. He just accepts it, but I embrace it. I don't gym max or do MMA to compensate. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's totally cool if that's how you cope. And I also don't hate being lifted or patted on the head like he does. I enjoy it. So what sounds more fun, tolerating something or loving it? You'd think guys like this were pushing the law of attraction with how much they downplay the role of luck in success. It's awfully convenient for them to tie everyone's life outcomes to only the things that we have direct control over in our lives. It's convenient because it allows them to paint themselves as some kind of master of the universe and say that you should listen to him because he has all the secrets to success. That everyone has the same chance at life, and there's no such thing as determinism of any kind. This kind of positioning should honestly be a giant red flag, because it's exactly what grifters do to exploit the insecurities of their audience and sell them a solution to their problem after building the trust of these desperate people. And then when the solution that you give them inevitably doesn't work, you just get to deny accountability and wipe your hands with it and say it's all their fault because they didn't try hard enough. All the while, they get to feel intellectually and spiritually superior while invalidating the struggles of everyone less fortunate than them.
You become what you think about. If you think everything's terrible because of your height, then everything terrible will happen because of your height. Don't let this work you up. You can find someone in your dating pool around the same height, and I've seen guys who are 5'5" pull a 5'8", 5'9" girl.
What a lot of these people don't get is that a huge part of getting a girlfriend as a short guy comes down to luck. Having the right woman cross your path at the right time in both your lives. I mean, the stars basically have to align. Sure, there are a few women out there who are down for short guys, but they're pretty fucking rare. And many short normies who say shit like this just got lucky and have no idea. Like this guy who seems pretty clueless.
Tell me how short men keep getting stunningly hot girlfriends.
These people always resort to the same tired tropes in their argument. But what about? Like I said before, maybe the guy has clout or fame or money. Maybe he's got an extremely handsome face. But in the end, meeting the right girl who's in the right place in life to date you is really down to luck, timing, and circumstance. Especially when dating apps are, for the most part, off the table as an option for guys like us.
I'm 5'7". Is being short the best thing in the world? Probably not. But it's something you can't change. So what is the point being upset about it every single day? All you're doing is ruining the quality of your own life.
So this guy asks, what's the point? Well, bro, the point is to shine a light on the struggles of a marginalized group of people that are being swept aside and ignored in society. To spread awareness about heightism and the struggles of short men that are very real and have a significant impact on life outcomes, and all I'm asking is that they be acknowledged. I mean, is that so hard? It's the same reason that any other marginalized group talks about their issues. Except their issues have been acknowledged for decades now by the general public. And yes, as a short guy, it isn't necessarily over if you have a good face, but luck is still involved in everything. And those who had good luck from the start in life have no idea how little control they actually had. How about you guys? Which is the most annoying of the 3 types of gaslighting normies that tell you to just be confident? The blue-pilled normie in denial? The tall Chad who never knew true struggle? Or the virtue-signaling feminist? Let me know in the comments. And if you made it to the end, comment brutal so I can know who my true comrades are. Subscribe to my channel for more relatable truths and brutal stories, and watch this video here, because the algorithm chose it especially for you personally. Thanks for watching.